everybody, it's me again, Shirley Gutkowski from Spot for Health. Welcome to the TV show. Sorry it's been such a long hiatus. A lot of things have been developing. So we're going to be kind of launching a couple of episodes in the next few weeks. Today's episode is about a special event that's coming up at our office at 1266 West Main, right next to Quick Trip there. And it's in conjunction with You Define Wellness. And You Define Wellness, we're going to talk about today with my special helper and guest here, Dr. Shalom. Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? You
Good.
just opened a new location.
Yes.
You got out of your extra bedroom and now.
I got my home back again.
Yay. And where is that?
It's on Crossroads off of High Crossing Boulevard.
Okay. Oh, that's a nice area. Good. So we have a new chiropractor in the midst. And we're going to talk today about our relationship with You Define Wellness, which is an organization of healthcare providers that kind of span traditional medicine and kind of outside of traditional medicine, and also about our event that's coming up, the Wellness Experience. Why don't you talk about You Define Wellness, how you know it?
Well, a lot of providers that I collaborate with, like Shirley, a massage therapist, Tracy, that we'll talk about essential oils, I refer patients out to. So the collaboration of individuals that can optimize one human body's potential, basically. Just spinal health is not important. Breathing is also important. Essential oils is also important. So the collaboration of all these techniques help one's body. So that's how I got into You Define Wellness, because all of the collaborative providers were part of it. So it's about a month that I've been in it. So I'm excited to be a part of a community wellness program.
So You Define Wellness is almost nationwide.
Oh.
So our business is very much online. It's a remote kind of a practice. So it started in Colorado, and there are a lot of providers in Colorado, but I can work with them and they can work with me, and we can collaborate back and forth that way. And the other half of the You Define Wellness is to provide business owners with a healthcare package that they can offer their employees that doesn't cost $1,000 a month per employee like traditional insurance. So it's not like really, really insurance, but it is a healthcare package that small business owners or medium or large, whatever, we're not fussy that way, can offer to their employees. So it's kind of two-hatted that way. Our director here in all of Wisconsin is Michelle Jolly. And she has a healthcare practice in Madison. And Michelle has been really instrumental in bringing us all together and to include or to just put the word out there about this. I keep wanting to call it insurance. There's probably a better word for it. But this collaborative group for healthcare for small businesses. So the You Define Wellness family has been growing, and I'm super excited about the potential of that.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so what's happening with that is that last March in 2020, we were going to have a wellness experience, and something happened. And then all of a sudden, first we're like, well, we should have everybody wear masks. And then everybody was like, no, they just shut down everything. So here it is, a year and a half later, and we're relaunching the wellness experience. The launch is going to be at Primal Air at 1266 West Main that I mentioned, and you can register for it so that we know how much food and drink we want to have available at youdefinewellness.com. We have some other location things for you to link up to. So you can let us know that you're coming. And we have 7 different kind of practices that you can experience during this wellness experience. What do you know about access bars? Do you know anything about access bars? I don't either. I thought they were like food bars, but they're not. So we're going to talk about, let's just start with that, shall we? So Mary Crawford is our access bars person, and she is the owner of the Joy of Being Well LLC. She's an energy healer, nutrition coach. She's a master dowser. Who knew that was real? And she has access bars. She will be giving a free sample of access bar sessions to attendees. This is a process that can remove years of tension and anxiety using only a very light touch on specific points on the head. The bars have been used successfully for reducing PTSD, sleep issues, general anxiety, and more. People have reported feeling a difference even after a short sample session. So you'll be able to sit with Mary and she'll do whatever she does with these access bars. So when it's slow, I'm going to be in line for that.
For sure. Next, we have Tracy Frank with Jade Lemonade. She'll be sharing all about essential oils. She'll be offering chances to be scanned with the iTovi device, which uses your body's frequencies to determine a specific list of oils for your emotional, physical wellness, and offering the quick aroma reset technique, which also allows you to let go of anxieties and worries with just a couple drops of oil. She will even send you home with an oil sample and directions to repeat the technique for yourself anytime, anywhere. So that's kind of cool that we all get a sample.
That is really cool. Do you know a lot about essential oils?
Some.
I've been following this story of essential oils for maybe 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping to find a way to use essential oils in a dental practice. And so it's super scientific on the one hand and super woo-woo on the other. So do you know anything about this iTovi thing that she was talking about in that little description? So yeah, I'll be in line for that one as well. Because if you can figure out which oils you need to get the best benefit, I think it makes it less woo-woo somehow.
And it's kind of cool that we get to experience it too, because usually we're busy sending people here and there. So it's fun for us to collaborate together in one place.
And find out how better even to collaborate. So that's going to be fun. So our next person is Kim Flood with Wisdom and Wellness. She's also a wellness coach. So she came to Primal Air a couple of months ago, and she did a little demonstration of some of the things that she does at her practice. With all the stress in the world today, we can find ourselves easily overwhelmed. Oh, yeah. So she's going to ask us to take a few minutes for yourself to learn a simple heart math technique to be used anywhere, anytime, to ease your mind, access your intuition. That's super important to me lately. Strengthen your immune system, get better sleep, and find your calm. Deepen your understanding and validate your progress while you see what's going on inside your body. When does that happen? Using the heart math technology, which is a big news technology. Learn how to change your heart rhythm pattern to create physiological coherence and increase harmony in your mind, body, and emotions. Do you do a lot with intuition? Are you
sometimes.
Intuitive?
Yes.
Are you? That whole follow your gut thing has never worked for me. So I'm really trying to get better in tune with it. They say it's a little bit easier or better after you've gone through menopause to get into your intuitive self. So when I'm watching game shows, I try to intuit who's going to win, just to try to do, access that part. So it's pretty easy that way. But if there's a way that you can do it more scientifically, like with the heart math system, that's pretty awesome that you can keep track of that.
And we have a lot of providers that use that scientific way of getting results, so which is cool. So which brings us to Tina Sheway. She has this amazing mat. Have you experienced that one? Yes.
The Beamer mat.
The Beamer mat, yeah. So she'll be offering 8 minutes sessions on the proven scientific mat, also called the Beamer mat. It has multiple benefits such as enhanced blood flow, relaxation, stress reduction, stress everywhere, sleep management, endurance, and strength. So that will be fun for people to actually experience.
Yeah, it's the way that she describes it is that it activates the frequency that you get from Mother Earth. So is that how she says it to you, kind of? She uses that Mother Earth analogy quite often. And by doing that, it opens up the capillaries, the microvasculature, which you're going to be hearing about a lot in the literature and in just scientific articles coming up in the next couple of years because of this current health crisis we have in the United States. So it opens up those capillaries, which gives you better oxygenation and better blood flow to places like your gums for periodontal infections, for your toes, for your fingers, so that you have more of the nutrition and the nutrients that all your cells need, because they're all tapped into these capillaries. And when they're cramped up in disease states, then your chances of fighting the disease are even less. So it's crazy. So it's a Beamer, Beamer, right?
Yep.
Beamer mat. Yeah. Okay, super. And then me. So nobody has ever heard about orofacial myofunctional therapy. So Philip Gutkowski and I came up with a different term that was a little bit more approachable called working with the muscles in the snoring complex. So the nose, the mouth, the tongue, the back of the throat. And we help people breathe easier and better. And so what we're going to do for your experience at this wellness experience is we're going to do an airway assessment. So it's going to be quick and painless, and we're going to find out why your airway is or is not working for you. For those of you who want to eliminate or optimize snoring, athletic performance, ADHD, anxiety, growth and development, this is exactly what we're going to be doing as a quick assessment. This is one of two that are child-friendly. I was going through this list earlier today, and I was like, you know what? All of this stuff for stress and anxiety, well, maybe the essential oils is child-friendly.
Yep.
But this one is especially child-friendly because we're helping to develop the airway, which includes the maxilla, which you've heard me talk about 1,000 times. This is also an opportunity for you to get 50% off of a full assessment. So you'll be saving $50 there. And I just wanted to have there's a new book called The Breathing Cure. It's right there. And this is brand new. It was just released a couple of weeks ago. 75% of kids with tonsils and adenoids removed still breathe through their mouth 3 years later. That was a study that was published in 1922. So this has been a long-going problem that nobody's been talking about. We also have studies that go back that far to show that mouth breathing collapses the maxilla so that your teeth are crooked. And it also damages the jaw joint because your mouth is hanging open. The airway development that doesn't happen in childhood can lead to obstructive sleep apnea. So we want to get to these people as soon as possible, but we don't want to not act even if you're, my age, 29, or even somebody in their 70s or 80s. We can help improve the airway. So that's what we're going to be doing at the wellness experience.
And kids are encouraged to have it evaluated, right?
Oh, yeah. We want to get to it as soon as possible because there's so many dire consequences by not getting it early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have a 6-year-old who I had Shirley evaluate because I noticed she had her mouth open while breathing sometimes. And you found that she had obstructed airway, and we've been working with her, and she takes her Shirley exercises very seriously. So
yeah, and they're fun, right? I mean, it's kind of fun.
It's a family affair to get them done.
Excellent. Yeah, so thank you for that little testimony there.
Yeah. So we also have Julie Gullickson with the Kindness Bank. Do you know what the Kindness Bank is?
I do not know about the Kindness Bank.
She will help you discover ways to bring kindness into your neighborhood and the world to bring health and healing for everyone.
Excellent. We need a lot more of that, don't we? I can't wait to learn a little bit more of that myself.
Yeah. So the last is me, Dr. Shalom from Shalom Family Chiropractic. As mentioned earlier, I am from Sun Prairie, and I just relocated from my home practice to an office outside my home. on Crossroads Drive, 2810 Crossroads Drive. Still getting used to the address. And I specialize in family wellness care. So you'll be able to experience a little spinal evaluation, a mini spinal evaluation, and basically check your posture. Posture says a lot about our spinal health because the way we stand, if our shoulders are off, if our ears are not level, if our hips are not level, it means there might be some misalignments in the spine. So you'll be able to check that out as well.
And this is also something that a child would be eligible for.
So we talk a lot about trauma, right? Physical trauma, mental trauma, emotional trauma. So the very first trauma a child has is birth. So you have about 150 pounds of pressure when you bring a child into the world. And that is the first trauma. So just imagine how their necks are, and you can have issues such as colicky babies, not pooping, constipation, just irritation. Sometimes people don't know that they can even get their shoulder dislocated, and it's not common to.
Oh, for an infant, you mean a newborn?
Newborn, yeah. And the child will just be crying, and no one can figure out what. And then you have them evaluated, and then you know they have a dislocated shoulder. And torticollis is common from birth trauma because the muscles get tight, and the infant will be on one side, not breastfeeding, reflexes, slew of many issues that can be helped with chiropractic care.
So this infant thing has been kind of intriguing to me for chiropractic because babies are born perfect. And so this whole thing with chiropractors looking at newborns is, I'm getting used to it, let's say. It's been maybe 15 years or so, and I'm just getting completely warmed up to it.
Right.
So sleeping problems, when the baby is laying down on a flat surface, they should be straight. Maybe their legs are curled up still because they're newborn, but they should be in a straight line. So that torticollis word is a real fun one to say, torticollis. And that is that a feature of being in the womb? Is that why their head is crooked?
Or birth trauma. It could be
really
either
from
or.
Birth trauma that can happen.
Mostly, but like let's say if the intrauterine constraint was hard, that's why I also talk about prenatal care as well for the moms, pregnant moms. I know that's also a new thing with chiropractors adjusting, pregnant ladies. So when you're in the womb, you only have so much space. And if mom's pelvis is misaligned and there's misalignment with all the muscles, because already your muscles are all loose, from pregnancy hormones. So if it's not giving enough space, the baby is in a constrained position. So that can also cause torticollis. So that's why getting adjusted in all aspects of life is important.
Yeah, no kidding. Something you said. Okay, so now, what if there's C-section?
Yeah, so you have C-section
That's
also
like
has
triple trauma, right?
Right, because they're not getting the right bacteria when they come out of the vaginal canal, basically. C-sections don't have that. Plus, you're still having that pull from the mom's belly out. So they have their own set of concerns, but concerns there are.
So our newest little grandson was born C-section, and he had obviously first children aren't usually done with a scheduled C-section.
Correct.
And so there was all this labor and intensity on the front side before they finally just were like, oh, this is baloney, so let's take the guy out there. And there was a lot of trauma for the mother, and I don't know what kind of trauma there is for the baby. Do they pull the baby? This is terrible that I don't know. Do they pull the baby's head out, or do they squeeze under and get their shoulders?
It's head first. I was the same way too. So being a chiropractor, knowing everything, I had everything planned out.
Yeah.
Not a C-section, and it ended up being a C-section. Traumatic after 36 hours of labor, going to the C-section. You still have that mom guilt as a chiropractor knowing that was not the best choice, but sometimes it happens.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
So having the proper nutrients for the mom, like I wasn't able to breastfeed like I did my second one because my first,
was the other one.
yeah. So because of so much trauma, my production of milk was not there. So I could only do what I could. So it's okay. That's another reason I'm so passionate about empowering women and working with women, especially during pregnancy, is to being heard. Sometimes things don't work out, and the health of the baby and the mom is more important than what happens in that process sometimes. And so I'm here to listen and work with families that have had a traumatic birth.
So is it smart for the woman then to have a chiropractic adjustment?
To at least have it evaluated.
That day?
Before going into labor?
No, after the baby comes out.
Oh, yes. For certain weeks. I've had, after 8 days of delivering, I've adjusted moms. Even if it's C-section, we can work around it, not having the mom lay down on her belly, but sitting up. There's many ways that we can work around that.
It seems like after all that pushing and no fruit of all the pushing, I mean, just sometimes when you're bearing down, you can feel your back cracking and stuff, and it would seem like that would be a good time to have an adjustment or already be in relationship with a chiropractor so that once the baby comes out, however it comes out, you get
you're evaluated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's important too. So so fascinating how all of this stuff goes together, because I think one of the reasons that you found us is because you thought your daughter had a tongue tie. And so how often are you seeing tongue ties? Are you seeing them at all? Are you seeing more of them?
More
Is your
of them.
Awareness increased, and that's why you're seeing more, do you think?
Just part of my regimen now to check babies, especially if the mom says they are having latching issues or latching is not proper, So when I check, there's at least 50% I'm seeing more of that. And we just have stressors in life around us, within us, above us, below us.
Right.
So everything affects the baby, affects the mom, emotionally, physically, mentally. And there are provisions out there. There are providers out there that are able to help that aspect of, a person. And so it's to our benefit to take part in all of that.
So let's just separate that for a second, because we have another little couple minutes here. So my son wasn't happy with the whole thing either. And so he was under a lot of stress during that time and had to make decisions he wasn't prepared to make, because you go in, especially if you're the guy, here you go, I drove you.
Right.
I'm out,
Yeah.
I got you here. So, just watching somebody go through that kind of an experience and then still they had to leave the baby at home still, or at the hospital rather, and then she went home without the baby. Oh my God, I just want to cry every time I just even think about it. So apparently I am having trauma too.
Right,
but
it affects
he certainly
everyone.
is. So that should also be handled by a chiropractor. I mean, just right in here is
the
to
stress.
just
We just
loosen
carry everything up
all
here.
of that up there, because we can't keep separating the man from the birthing process.
Right.
Because 99% of the time they're right there, and they have to make hard decisions. And so, yeah, I don't want to leave the guys out.
Right, for sure. It's a family affair.
It really is. So do you attend home births at all, or do you just wait for everything to be finished and then see everybody?
Sometimes I've had parents stop by before they go to the hospital, but I usually see them right after.
Awesome.
I'd love to attend one. But,
yeah, that'd be fun, right? All right, well, everybody, thank you for joining us. I hope you were, you're a little bit more knowledgeable about some of the other healthcare providers we have in and around Sun Prairie. The wellness experience is August 10th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the Sun Prairie World Headquarters of Primal Air. And we'd love to see you. If you can even register in advance, that would be good, or just drop in during that time. You'll see me there, you'll see Dr. Shalom there, and you'll see the other healthcare practitioners. If you have a small business and you're looking for a way to treat your employees, Udefine Wellness has a program for you to help you give this kind of healthcare to your employees. The address, the date, the time. Did I say all the parts?
We have some door prizes too, I hear.
Oh, yes, we have door prizes too. So that's going to be exciting. I think we have a little kit coming into that little door prize thing. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, stop on over between 3 and 7 next week, Tuesday. And I hope that you got what you wanted out of this episode. Thank you, Dr. Shalom, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
It was a lot of fun talking with somebody new again. Woohoo! Have a great rest of your day.